So as usual, we will start with a real-world usage test. This is simulating basically your day-to-day usage on a smartphone. We'll be opening things up such as web-based apps like Snapchat, Instagram, to games and other things. So at this point in time, we are pretty evenly matched. We just started, but the S9 is showing that it is quite the powerful contender. It also has very short animations, and that gives it the effect of being very fast as well. So the iPhone X powers through editing an 8K image and exporting it. The S9 was a little bit slower there. And going into Minecraft, you can see that the iPhone X loads it pretty quickly. It is also optimized for the display of the iPhone X. Not sure if that would affect the S9's performance here. And do take note that the results you're seeing here may change with time. Maybe I'll retest it in a few months because the S9 is fresh and all these apps may not have been updated to support it natively with the Snapdragon 845, so that could change. Not to mention it's using a brand new version of Android 8.0, so that could be something to consider as well. So we're on asphalt already, and the iPhone X is just powering through it. Now we're going to the web-based apps, Netflix, and back to a game to shock the system up. So Grand Theft Auto San Andreas hasn't been updated in a while, so I may change this app out with a different one in the future, but it is a pretty heavy one, and both load them incredibly fast. For something that I was running on a PS2 years ago, I'm running it on my phone incredibly fast. And this is something that bothers me about the iPhone. When you're using apps in landscape, you never know where the touch bar is going to be. I like that you can just click on the bottom of the S9 and go home. But okay, we're wrapping this test up now. We're already on Amazon at both, and it's really crazy to see that both of these are at the same spot. I have never had this with any other smartphone. The first round is going to be very close, but we're getting to the part that's usually killer for the Android phones, and that's actually encoding a 4K video and exporting it. So this is where the iPhone's A11 processor shines. I mean, it just tears through it. And this is the very same application on both, very same video, a minute 30, 4K. And the iPhone X seemed to be just a little bit faster here. So going into the stopwatch, we've got a 2 minute and 55 second first round, which is very impressive until you start loading those apps in the very beginning. Because of the heavy processing we were doing with the export of the 4K video, the iPhone forgot all about them, completely refreshed your spot in them, so you have to spend time waiting for the app to load again. Meanwhile, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus is breezing through them. Samsung gave it 6 GB of RAM, that's 2 over the last version, and this was a problem that the old S8 had. No longer is that an issue with the Galaxy S9 Plus, as with those additional 2 GB of RAM, you are able to get into the spot of all of those apps even after exporting a 4K video. That is impressive. Now, I'm not sure if this is something that Apple can fix with a software update or if this is just a hardware limitation with the 3 GB of RAM, but if you use a lot of apps, it might bother you that some of the older ones that you haven't used in a little while will refresh quite often in comparison to the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. And as a result of those 3 additional gigabytes of RAM, the S9 Plus is done with round 2 at 44 seconds. Meanwhile, the iPhone X, you can see where the apps stopped being reloaded, as all of the apps past Netflix had their positions saved, they weren't reloaded. So that came in with a 1 minute and 10 second round 2. Wow, this is close. The S9 beat it in lap 2, but the iPhone had a 10-second advantage over lap 1. Wow, Samsung, seriously, good job. I did not expect those results from Samsung Galaxy S9, and it has blown me away.